The grand glass doors of Bramwell Industries opened to another busy morning. Employees in suits rushed in, holding coffees and tablets. Amid all that walked Maria, a quiet maid in a worn-out uniform holding her cleaning supplies. She greeted everyone with a gentle smile. But no one replied. "Don't block the way," one intern muttered as she passed. Another whispered, "She's been here forever, this poor thing. Probably doesn't even know what a break feels like." Maria said nothing. She just smiled faintly and continued her work. But behind those tired eyes was a depth no one saw. Inside the top-floor office, Mr. Raymond Bramwell, the CEO, was pacing nervously on a call. His one-year-old baby, Lily, sat in a playpen near his desk, giggling, holding a soft toy. Maria entered quietly to clean. "Sir, may I just dust this area quickly?" she asked softly. Raymond waved his hand impatiently. Fine, but be quick. I've got an important meeting." As she cleaned, she glanced at little Lily and smiled warmly. The baby laughed back, a spark of innocence in a world of arrogance. Maria sat alone in the corner, eating a small meal she brought from home. A group of employees at the next table laughed loudly. "Imagine being here for years and still a janitor," one said. "She probably doesn't even have a family," another added cruelly. Maria's hands trembled slightly, but she stayed silent. She looked out the window, up at the bright blue sky. There was something in her gaze. Calm strength. Scene 4. The fire alarm. Chaos begins. Suddenly, beep, beep, beep! The fire alarm shrieked through the building. Panic. People rushed out of their offices, shouting, running for the exits. Smoke began to fill the hallway. Maria froze for a second. Then her eyes widened. "The baby," she whispered. She dropped her mop and sprinted toward the CEO's office, against the crowd. "Hey, don't go that way!" someone yelled. But she didn't stop. Scene 5. The fire. The rescue. The CEO's office was filled with thick smoke. Flames crawled up the curtains. Lily's faint cries echoed through the noise. Maria covered her mouth with a cloth and pushed through the heat. "Hold on, baby." "I'm coming!" she cried. She found Lily trapped near the playpen, the flames closing in. Without hesitation, she wrapped the baby in her own shawl and shielded her body against the smoke. Coughing, stumbling, she forced herself through the doorway. The ceiling cracked. Wood fell, fire roared. Just as she reached the hallway, boom! The office exploded behind her. She collapsed on the floor, clutching the baby tightly. Firefighters surrounded the area. Smoke billowed out of the tall building. Employees watched in shock as Maria emerged, covered in ash, clothes torn, eyes red from the smoke, holding the crying baby safe in her arms. The CEO rushed toward her, eyes wide with disbelief. "My God, my baby!" He took Lily, trembling, tears in his eyes. Then he looked at Maria, the woman he'd barely ever noticed. You saved her," he whispered. Maria just smiled faintly. "She's a good baby, sir." Always smiling, the crowd was silent. Everyone who once ignored her now looked at her with awe. Scene 7. The revelation. A week later, a week passed. The company was repairing the fire damage. Raymond invited Maria to his office, now on a temporary floor. She entered nervously. "Sir, you wanted to see me?" Raymond stood up holding a folder. "Maria, I owe you more than I can ever repay. You didn't just save my daughter, and you reminded me what real courage looks like." He opened the folder and smiled. "I did a background check, and I discovered something I didn't expect." Maria looked confused. "Sir?" He handed her a photo. It showed a younger Maria standing beside a hospital wearing a nurse's uniform. "You were a nurse?" he asked softly. She nodded slowly. "Yes, I used to be, back in my country. But when my husband died, I came here to find work. My degrees weren't accepted, so I took any job I could, as long as it was honest." The CEO's eyes filled with tears. "You've been cleaning floors in silence, while you were once saving lives." Maria lowered her eyes. "Work is work, sir. I'm grateful I still get to help people." Raymond stood up. "Not anymore, Maria. From today, you're joining our company's new health and safety department as a senior supervisor." She gasped. Sir, I don't know what to say, he smiled. Just say yes. You deserve the respect we all forgot to give you. Scene 8. The ending, 1 month later. Maria walked through the office again, but this time in a neat uniform, holding a clipboard. People greeted her warmly. Good morning, Ms. Maria. She smiled and nodded. Still humble, still kind. On her desk sat a framed photo, little Lily smiling in her arms. Narrator voice, emotional tone. In a world that judges by titles and uniforms, true worth often hides behind humble clothes. She was once invisible until her courage lit up the truth. Moral. Never look down on someone doing honest work, because one day, the person you ignored might be the one who saves your world.